Welcome to the Practically Imperfect podcast. I'm Linzie.
Yep, and I am Orson.
Orson, how was your week?
My week was pretty good, Linz. Thanks for asking.
What did you do?
It was full of adventures.
Yes.
I really feel like this week for me was a lot of adventures. I went to Park City for work.
Yes.
And I mean, for me, it doesn't really feel like work because I like doing it, and I also enjoy being around the type of people that are at these types of events. I was at a real estate coaching mastermind, so it's an elite coaching group.
Orson does not do real estate. That's not what he went
for.
for.
I was filming the event.
Yes.
Capturing stuff that the Scarlett, is she waking up right now?
No, she's just making noises. Continue.
Okay. So the coach that puts on this mastermind event, he's a friend of mine, and he has asked me. I filmed the first event he did back in, I think, April or May, and they just did another one in Park City this last week, and he asked me to film that one so he could get content to help promote it, like photos and reels and stuff like that. So that's why I was there.
Nice. And how many days were you gone?
I was gone for 2 days.
You were gone for 3 days.
Well, I left at the end of... I was gone for 2 nights.
It felt like 3 days for me because he left Monday night and he was gone all day Tuesday, came back Wednesday at like 11 p.m. So pretty much all day Wednesday. But Monday you were at work all day. So I only saw you for maybe an hour on Monday. So it felt like you were gone for like 3 full days. Which on my end of the week, it was pretty crazy, pretty sad too, because our baby Scarlett was sick for the first time, and I had to hold down the fort. She was sick when she was
born.
What?
She had. Oh wait, she wasn't sick. We were sick when she was born.
Yeah, she didn't get sick because I was breastfeeding.
That's true. Okay, yeah, never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, no, of course. So when Orson was gone the next day on Tuesday, she woke up really sick and really she just had dried boogers all over her, and she could barely breathe, and she was coughing. It was just really sad, and she was extra fussy, extra tired. So it was just a lot for me to hold down the fort for 3 straight days. I was a solo parent for 3 days, which is hard work, I'm not gonna lie. So on Monday and Tuesday, I stayed home. Wednesday, I went into work and my mom watched her. And oh my gosh, Wednesday, I was so done. I was like, thank goodness Orson gets home tonight, because if I had to do another day all by myself, I think I would cry. And honestly, I think it's because I went to work too. I had to work and take care of her when I got home. And I feel for all those moms out there, all those working single moms, because it is hard work, and I did it for 1 day. So yeah, I think what just made it extra hard and extra sad was that she was sick. And I was like sending you videos and pictures of her just being so sick, and it was sad. But today we are filming this on Saturday, and today's probably the first day where I'm like, okay, she's better. Like, she hasn't been coughing as much. Her boogers and her snot have lessened. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. That was the biggest thing. I also got sick too. Hello. I was sick Thursday and Friday because of Scarlett, and I was taking care of her. Mm-hmm. Let's see. What else was I going to say about her being sick? Oh, and you being gone. I literally, guys, cannot sleep a wink when Orson is gone. And it's very sad. So I was like sleep deprived, sick. It was a rough 3 days for me. But it's all good now that you're here. Yes.
You keep saying 3 days. I left Monday at like 7 p.m.
But you were gone all day on Monday, so I was still watching Scarlett the full day.
So that's true.
That's why I said For me, you were gone for 3 days because I didn't see you all those 3 days, pretty much. Anyway, so that was our week. I feel like that was the fastest week we've ever, like, done. I'm trying to think if we're missing anything.
I mean, honestly, I guess from my perspective, it was just, I felt bad that she got sick right when I left.
I know.
I mean, it's like the cutest, sickest, like, it's like the cutest thing, but like also so sad.
Why is
it's
it
like,
cute?
She's just such a cute baby, and it's just like, oh, like, you're just the egg, like, oh.
Yes.
That's like what I'm.
I wish she was cuddlier because
that's true.
She's normally not a cuddly baby, but. And I always see how, when your baby's sick, it's sad, but you get lots of cuddles. No, she was still, like, not about that. So that was also sad. We didn't even get that.
That's true. I wonder why she doesn't like cuddling.
I don't know.
She seems like the type of baby that
she's an independent woman.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
She quite literally is independent woman.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get into this episode, I guess. So today we are going to talk about. Let's hold hands.
Oh my goodness! Why are we? This is getting serious.
We are going to talk about how we met. Aww.
Okay.
Oh. Orson just made a disgust face right now.
I was like, okay, never mind. Doesn't matter.
I can't believe this is our, I believe, 7th episode that we're recording, and we never got to the very beginning.
I feel like we've talked a little bit about it.
No, we have not.
Excuse me.
Who says excuse me after yawning?
Shouldn't everybody?
No.
It's disruptive. It's like you sneeze, you're like, oh, excuse me. It's just polite.
Oh, okay. I've never done that, but like, good for you.
Can't believe we're talking about yawning.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Like,
I keep getting distracted.
You
Okay.
do.
We're talking about how we first met and the challenges that came with that. Because if you didn't know, so I live in Southern Utah and Orson grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And so why were you living here in St. George?
Yeah, so after my mom passed away, I decided to, let's get out of, I always wanted to leave Flagstaff for college. I wanted to move away from family and try to do it on my own, right? Mm-hmm. And so I decided to move up north, which is the Salt Lake area, Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was thinking about going to a community college in the Salt Lake area. And while I was living at the time with my aunt and uncle, I was reading the scriptures one morning and I just felt prompted to move to St. George. And I was like, you know what? All right. I don't have anything keeping me here. I had a place to stay and a job if I moved down to St. George. And that's about all that I had. I didn't know anybody else. I mean, I said I didn't know anybody. We have these really old family friends. So, like, my dad was best friends with their dad in high school. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, that sort of connection. So, I mean, like, I knew of them. But, I mean, it was... Anyways, they said, hey, we have a job for you and we have a place for you to stay if you want it. And so, after I had that prompting, reading those scriptures the one morning, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to move to St. George. And that next...
What month was that?
That was July. Was it July?
Must have been July of 2018.
Because I feel like...
Man, yeah, because we so long ago.
Yeah, because I spent the 4th of July in Salt Lake area that year. And then shortly after that, a week or so after that, I moved to St. George. Cool. And so I moved down here and got a job working for this company called Paparazzi. It was a warehouse job. I was pulling orders, waking up at like before the crack of dawn. So the guy that I was staying with, our family friend, he was the manager of the warehouse. So he would get there before everyone else, which meant our shift started at 5 a.m. and we would get there between 4 and 4:30 every single day. And I didn't have anyone else. I didn't have any friends, so I just worked. Literally all I did.
I think you were making, what, $11 an hour back then?
It was like 12.
Oh, 12.
Yeah,
that was
a high roller.
That was a lot back then.
It was.
So and I remember your paychecks were pretty fat because you worked all the time and overtime too, huh?
Yeah, because I literally worked from 5 to 5.
Oof.
If not longer. Because I literally had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Other than work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Like, I can just put myself, because I would eat the Costco muffins for breakfast. I just, sometimes when I put myself, I don't like, why do my eyes start to water when I talk about stuff like this?
Why are you so emotional
I'm not, like,
on this podcast?
I'm like not emotional at all, but it's just like this weird reaction. I don't understand it. Maybe there's some subconscious thing going on.
Yes.
Anyways, so I can just picture, like, put myself back in that moment, or back in those mornings, back in those evenings where I would get the muffin, go to work, do the job, and just go home, go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
It was...
You know what's crazy, Orson? You said that you did that in July. We didn't meet until March. Yeah, so you were doing that for quite some time.
I worked there for 6 months is how long I worked there.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Guys, when we met, Orson was unemployed. You didn't even work there. You had no job.
Yeah. So like what
I'm crazy.
To get us to that point, I worked there for 6 months. Ultimately, during the course of that time, the people I was living with, they were building a house too, and that house was being built, and they're like, you can come in and live in the extra room upstairs. Mm-hmm. So I moved into one of those rooms, and during that time I would go to work, come home, and I would start, this was like when TikTok was really starting to get popular.
Okay.
Like, not popular. It was like really starting to come into play.
Yes.
It was a new app, a new thing.
Yeah,
it was
2018. That was before it had like just. Yeah. Was it called TikTok or Musical.ly?
It had just switched from Musical.ly to TikTok.
Okay.
And so I was watching like Gary V videos because he's always one of the first people to hop on a new platform and start promoting it.
Oh.
Anyways, if you don't know who Gary V is, you can look him up. He's just some business guy that is really influential for a lot of people. Anyways, that's beside the point. I started making TikTok videos of me singing.
They're awful, you guys.
And I wasn't that bad of a singer.
Babe, they're pretty bad. We go back and watch them and we're like, oof.
It's true.
It's pretty cringy.
Did I leave? I put them... They're still on my TikTok.
And did I convince you to delete them? I might have.
I think I put them on private, but I might have left like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you can check right now while I'm finishing the story, but
okay.
Just to see if they're on there, and if people want to go watch them, they can go see them.
Okay.
But anyways, the videos were, I was playing the guitar a lot.
This is supposed to be how we met, Orson.
We're
so
there.
Get to the point, pretty please.
Oh my gosh, this is my podcast too.
I know, but you told me if you were dragging on, going in circles to let you know, and this is me letting you know.
Very lovingly, I might add. My goodness. Okay. Anyway, so I feel like I keep going back to the starting point because I keep getting interrupted.
Okay, so yes, sorry to interrupt. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let me see, which ones are they?
Videos. I think they were the best of the best ones.
Oh man!
But you had way more than 5.
Yeah, there was at least probably like 50.
Yeah, you posted a lot.
Yeah. So
okay, why did you even mention that?
Oh, because like I was trying to do certain things. I bought certain equipment to make music and to do videos, and I was thinking my thing is I want to make videos and I want to make my own music for my videos, and that's what makes me stand out from anyone else.
Aw, that's cute.
And that's kind of what I was thinking of. And then, yeah, that obviously never happened. But during that course of that time, I ended up quitting that job. And this gets me to the point to where you then met me.
Yes.
And I ended up quitting paparazzi, that warehouse job, because there was this one recovery place that you can go to recover from traumatic events or whatever. Or maybe you just need a break from life. Anyways, so they told me, for every person I bring into the program, I would get $750. So and honestly, that would be a lot. If I could bring in 12 people a month, like that's a lot for a single guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something.
Did you do any of that?
Nope, I'd never got $750 once.
You got 0 people?
I got 0 people.
That sounds like MLM vibes.
No, it wasn't.
But
MLM.
it's not.
It wasn't MLM at all. I had started making content for them, and I like the guy that owned the business. I knew him. He stayed with my family for a while he was getting his doctorate and stuff like that. So I felt like he might have been like, oh, I kind of owe them, and so maybe he was like, I'll give this kid a shot.
Yeah.
But like when you met me, I was trying to learn marketing and learn how to use a camera, and I wasn't really that good at it. And it was like the beginnings of me trying to make a living by using a camera.
Yes.
And then that brings me to the point to when I now meet you.
Well, now let me say where I was before I met you. It was a way less cool story. It's way shorter.
Yes.
So, I had just graduated high school.
That's crazy.
Yes, in May of 2018. Gosh. And I was working at Subway. Yes, I was. From 7 to 3 was my shifts, and I was making $10 an hour. And that was all. That's literally all I was doing.
Well, you would like come home. Like, what would you do after work?
After work, I would come home and sleep. I'm not kidding, because I had to be there at 7, so I had to wake up at like 6.
Put us into the mind of Lindsay in this stage of life.
I was dating for sure. I was on the apps, and I was dating a lot of people. Whoa. Having lots of fun, yes.
Wow. Yeah. You make it sound like you were kind of a whore when you put it that way.
A whore? No, I said I went on lots of dates.
But you were like, I was having fun.
I was having fun. Dates are fun.
Okay. I
kissed a lot of them, yes, and it was fun. Leave me alone.
Okay. I was doing none of the sort.
Okay, great. So that's literally all I was doing is I was working at Subway, hating my life there, but too lazy to get another job because Subway was so easy.
Real quick, I just want to make this clear. I don't think you're a whore. I never thought that.
Yes, I know.
Just more of a joke.
I know, babe. Okay. Don't worry.
I just don't want to get canceled already.
Yeah, don't get canceled. And so my mindset was just kind of like, oh, I'm having fun. I'm dating around. But I remember, and I have this on video, I think, on my YouTube channel, which I think is just Lindsay Wilkins, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's a video with one of my BFFs, Trey Ovard. Shout out. I know he watches this podcast. Love you the most, Trey.
Oh, dear.
Yes. And we were talking about our New Year's resolutions in 2019. And I said I wanted a serious relationship because for the past, from May to December, I was just dating a lot. Nothing would really go past the second or third date. So I said in my New Year's resolution that I want a serious relationship in 2019. Little did I know that same year, October of 2019, I would be full on married. Which is so insane.
Gosh, that is literally
and we hadn't even met yet.
When you say that, I'm like, God, gosh, like how stupid are these kids? Like that's what runs through my head.
Yeah, we were so dumb. Especially like as we go on with this story, it worked
out. And I love it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But it's just like thinking back on it with my perspective now, it's like, what in the world?
I know, so dumb. Well. And that came to light in March. Okay, let me go back. So my father, Richard, he is notorious for he's a matchmaker at heart. I don't know what it is, but he just likes to get involved and like make stuff happen. Like he's done that with me. He's done that with one of my other sisters. So when it first happened, when he tried to set me up with this guy, I was not yet graduated yet, but I was 18. So he would set me up with returned missionaries. And the first one he set me up with, his name was Michael. Again, shout out. I loved him the most. He was awesome. So that was like a good one that my dad found, but it didn't work out with him. And then my dad set me up with this other guy. We just went on one date. I don't know why he set me up with that guy. I didn't even think he was that cute. So this had already happened 2 times. So my dad gets home from church one day and he goes, "Hey, Lindsay, expect a call from this guy." I don't even think he said your name. He was like, "Expect a call from this guy. I met him at church. He goes to the singles ward and yeah, I told him to give you a call." And I was literally like, "Dad, can you please stop?" Like, this was the 3rd time, pretty back to back. And I was just annoyed because I didn't even go to church that day. I just wanted to stay in bed. So anyway, so that is my side of that story with my father. You go.
Yeah. So I was even in their church building in the first place because my roommate, the guy that I was living with, the manager of the warehouse, he was giving a talk in church. And I went to support him. I wasn't even planning on staying for the meetings after sacrament, and I ended up going to what we call, it's called elders quorum, and it's where just like the men get together in the ward and they discuss, and anyways it's a lesson. And afterwards your dad came up to me and he was like,
"Thought you were a cutie."
How when like that time in my life too, I was just diagnosed. I had been diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I was on medication. I had acne. I was not my cutest.
No, you weren't. But I thought you were.
I guess that's all that matters. So he came up to me. He was like, "Oh yeah, you're on the singles ward," and blah 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 blah. And the way that I understood it was like you needed friends, and I wasn't like thinking, oh. I guess in the back of my head.
So my dad did not allude at all, like, "Please ask my daughter out on a date."
It wasn't like dating. He from what I remember, he said...
That's how he made it seem to me. Like, this guy's going to call you, he's going to ask you out.
No, it was... From what I remember, it was just like, he said, yeah, she normally goes with her cousin, but her cousin's not going to that ward anymore, so she doesn't have anyone to go with. And so it made it to me, I got the vibe of like, oh, she needs friends.
She needs someone to go to church with.
Yes. And so I was like, all right. I mean, well, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, too. What if she's cute? What if this? What if that? Like, obviously, you gotta entertain the fun possibilities.
Yes.
Spoiler alert: she turned out to be gorgeous.
Thank you.
Anyways, so he flashed a picture. It wasn't like, didn't really give me a lot of time to really look at the picture.
Yeah, because that's weird to be like, study her.
I guess that's true. And then he gave me your number, and I was like, there's like a fireside or something this evening. I can call her and invite her to that. And he was like, great, sounds good. And that was pretty much it.
Also, looking at my dad, he's very Mexican. He has the mustache. He's short. He's very intimidating, I would say. So were you kind of like, ooh, what's this girl gonna look like?
I don't think I was like, what's this girl gonna look like? I mean, he showed me a picture.
True. It was just a very quick glance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a quick glance, but I was still like, I wasn't gonna be mean or rude or anything.
Yeah, that's good.
I could still give you friends if that's ended up what it really needed to be. So
I get a phone call from this random number. I was about to say your phone number on the podcast. I was going to say, which ended up to be, but I'm not gonna. That's so funny that I almost did that. So from my point of view, again, so I answer, and I remember you being very nice, and you invited me to the fireside, which was in a couple hours. So I had to go and get ready for that. Yeah, and this is something I never did any stuff like this. I'm typically a pretty shy guy. Yeah. And to get some girl's number from their dad and then to call them later that night to invite them to go to a fire, like, this was very out of the ordinary for me. Yeah. I in my heart, like, I don't think I almost didn't do it, I think. And I was nervous. I was like, oh, man, this is just like, should I even do this? Do I even want to do that? Anyways, I ended up doing it. And when you answered the phone, I was like, she sounded annoyed. She does not want to be talking to me. She just was like, from your point of view, how did my voice sound? Because you've talked to me about this so many times of how You called me and you were nervous about it, and I sounded
how
mean.
when people like just wake up from a nap or something?
I might have just woken up from a nap.
But you're just like, hello.
No way.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, like, sure.
I do not believe you.
All right, bye.
I would never. No, I would never answer the phone like that.
But that's what I remember. Like, you did not sound happy to be talking to me.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
You sounded like you were just like, all right, let's just get this over with. And that's the vibes that I got.
And also, I got no picture, so I had no idea what you looked like. That also.
It's true.
But
did you even say my name? You didn't probably.
No.
Probably
I didn't know your name for the longest time because you have a hard name. Orson. Never heard of it in my life. I didn't know your name, honestly, until maybe like a weekend.
And what's funny is, like, whenever I go through drive-thrus, I always will give the name Jacob.
Yeah.
Just because
your name is weird.
I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to deal with it. Jacob's an easier name.
So a couple hours later, Orson comes to my door. I remember what you were wearing. You probably don't remember what I was wearing.
It was the yellow. I was wearing the yellow.
Yes, you were wearing a yellow waffle textured sweater.
I still have it, which is weird.
Nope, I don't have that dress anymore. Do you know what dress I was wearing?
Was it a black one?
Yes, it was black. There's nothing really special to it. It was just a black dress.
That was pretty good cooked grass.
Yeah. So he comes to my door. He was very nice. And you also said that I was pleased to see him. I thought he was pretty cute.
And again, this is not my cutest phase.
You know, you're right. But I still thought you were cute. But if I have to admit, I was like, okay, he's not the cutest guy I've ever been with. But then you ended up telling me that you were puffy and like you were taking a certain medication because of your Crohn's disease that kind of gave you these side effects. And I was like, oh, okay. But I still thought you were really cute. Like, I opened the door and was definitely not disappointed at all.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, and I thought you were so nice. So before I keep going into the day, what about me? Was I nice? Was I cute?
What was my first impressions of you when you opened the door?
Yeah.
So my first impressions, to answer your question, were you were very pretty. You were wearing a beautiful dress. You had wonderful nails. The things that really caught my eye more so was like your smile and this like the shape of your eyes. And that's what probably stood out to me the most. Like, you obviously have really nice teeth and you like to brag about that.
I do. I get compliments on them all the time.
Yeah. So, anyways, don't float your boat too much.
Okay.
But those, like, it was really more so like your eyes and like your smile is really what I noticed the most.
And I was nice.
You were nice.
And you said you were surprised that I was nice because apparently I didn't sound very nice on the phone.
Yeah, on the phone you did not sound nice, but in person you were normal. You were kind and a good person. You weren't mean or rude. You didn't seem shy. You just seemed comfortable in what could be an awkward situation. Yeah, so we drove to this fireside, and
so we drove to where we were going, this fireside, and he opens my door, and we were just walking in, and he was just like, you are very pretty. Like, he was just very straightforward of, you look really pretty. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, I just remember that because I was like taken aback of like, oh wow. Because I knew you meant it. You weren't just like, oh, you look nice. Like, you were like, you were very pretty. And I like to hear that.
Well, I still think that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And so, the fireside, it went fine. And then, I don't know if you were planning on doing this, but that night you invited me to your house because it was a Sunday, and your roommates were having like a game night with their family, and you invited me to that game night.
Yes, I remember.
Were you planning on that?
I don't think so.
You weren't? You just invited me?
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Oh my goodness. I guess I just thought you were cute, so I was like, all right, I'll see what this goes about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to act cooler than I am.
And the game night was super fun. And then at the door, we just hugged. no kissing. And you asked me to hang out the very next day on Monday, which was another church activity. What do they call it?
I don't remember.
Family home evening. That's what they called it.
FHE.
Yes. And so that's when stuff went down.
Not really.
Yes, the next day.
I was oblivious to the things that she's talking about.
Because you're a boy.
I guess. So we went to this this FHE, and they had like snacks, watching a movie. There were people sitting outside talking.
Well,
it was basically just people hanging out.
You cannot forget we played apples to apples.
Oh yes, we played apples to apples, and I picked your card like every time.
Okay, literally no. It was way more than that, Orson. So we were playing apples to apples with a bunch of college kids because that's the age group that we were hanging out with. There was so many people playing, more than 10 for sure. Yes, it was a big circle. And what are the odds that Orson... So we went around twice because there were so many people. So you picked my card twice. Like, come on. Okay, maybe that's not that big of a deal, but I thought it was like a mega sign. Like, what are the odds he picks my card out of 10 other cards? Like, that's pretty crazy, I think. So
well, the odds, I'm sure, are not in your favor, but it happened.
Yes, it did. I don't think I picked your cards, but you picked mine, and that was enough for me. But also, when we walked into this house that it was at, I had noticed that Orson was mostly friends with all the girls. You had guy friends, of course, but a lot of the girls were talking to you.
I wasn't really friends with any of the guys.
You like friendly, but it was mostly the girls you were hanging out with. And when I walked in with you, there was a couple particular girls, mostly one, who were very much giving me the side eye because I think she had a crush on you. And I think it was later confirmed that she did have a crush on you, and she was very pissed that night that you brought meat.
Yeah, I felt bad. I still feel bad.
Sorry, girl. I took your man's.
Oh my gosh. It all worked out the way that it needs to.
Yes. And
but
then, go ahead.
I was just going to say, actually, no, never mind. Go ahead.
And then after the game night, we were watching a movie. I believe it was Coco. Yes. And you had gone to get water or something. And I remember texting my mom, like, Mom, he's so cute and being so nice, and all of the girls want him, but he's like choosing me. And I'm just like, you're so cute. Like, why are you choosing me? Because I thought the other girls who were flirting with you, I thought they were way cuter than me. That's what I thought. Just because, growing up in Utah, the conventionally attractive girls are blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm none of that. So I just kind of assume, no matter really what you look like, but if you have those types of features, that you are cuter than me. Unfortunately, that's just how I don't think that anymore, but back then that's what I thought. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so, and then you held my hand during the movie, and we like cuddled, and it was so cute, and I was freaking out because I loved you.
And from my perspective, yeah, I didn't really notice any, like, I was oblivious to any other women trying to
flirt with me
or anything. Like, so I've kind of always been like that. I've had like two main guy friends, mm-hmm. and I've always just had like a flirty personality, and I hung out with a lot of girls. Like, I was just friends with a lot. Like, they were just friends.
Yes. And
we would hang out and have fun on weekend. Like, it wasn't anything romantic. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of how it was with these other girls that I only, when I moved to St. George, my only friends was just like these 3 girls. And I had a crush on one of them, and that then obviously didn't work out. But the other ones, they were really pretty. I never felt romantically about it. And there was other girls too that people were trying to like hook me up with, and I just like never had interest. Like, there was multiple times where I could have hooked up with many of them, mm-hmm. but I just like never took that opportunity, which is so coming from the high school perspective of me, that's so not like that version of me.
So that wasn't like you, but you just...
I think
Maybe you're just taking a break. You had your hoe phase. You were...
I did have my hoe phase.
You were chilling out, maybe.
Yeah. I think I was a little bit chilled out, and I had just come off like a mission, and I was trying to be more holy and gospel. And
that definitely stopped when you met me.
Yeah, which is okay.
That's okay, yeah. So, yes, we held hands during the movie, and then you drove me home, and we still didn't want the night to end. And
I tried to get you to go hiking up this mountain, didn't I?
Yes, near our house, which also weird coincidence. So the reason why that my dad even met him at our church in the first place is because Orson lived down the street from where my parents lived, which is where I was living at the time. So we were also neighbors.
You could literally see her house from my window.
Yeah, so we were also neighbors, which is really cute. Like, literally so cute.
It was pretty cute.
So, yes, you did try to get me to hike up, a mountain by our house. But I remember it was really windy that day, and so we didn't end up doing it.
It's a good thing for you because you hate hiking.
I know, and I didn't want to show that side of me quite yet. But I was just going with the flow to try to make you seem like I was cool.
Yeah.
But you later learned out
Why is that such a popular
cool.
thing for like first dates, first few days you go on a hike?
I don't know. I think it's because of where we live.
I mean, I guess. But I don't know.
Because I don't think that's a thing.
Even in Arizona, I feel like that's a thing. You
really?
go on like some sort of hike or some sort of walk or something like that. And I wonder why that's...
I don't know, because it's easy. It's fun.
But like, how many people do you know that actually enjoy hiking?
I don't know.
No, I don't really... I mean, I grew up doing it, but I never really always enjoyed it. I like camping when you have dirt bikes and quads and all those fun toys.
I hate hiking. I hate it. I don't think it's fun.
0
out of 10.
I'm starting to enjoy it more as we get older, being outside and...
Maybe I'll get there. But anyway, so even though that the weather was not permitting for us to go on this mini hike, by the way, also danger, it was dark. It was like probably 9 or 10 p.m. So, but that didn't stop us from hanging out. So I took Orson to my house in my room and we watched a documentary. I forget what it was called, but it was an insane documentary.
Was it the Ted Bundy one?
No, it was like, I think it was Lost in Plain Sight or Kidnapped in Plain Sight or something. Oh,
like the Mormon family that
Yes. It was a crazy documentary. I remember that. And during that documentary, we were also laying in my bed. We started to make out.
Oh.
It was really good. It was
the
really
door was
awesome.
open.
Yes, because that was the rule in my house. But it was nice. It was nice. That was our first kiss. This was the very next day after we met. And then after that, since we were neighbors, we hung out every single day.
I was at your house even when you weren't there.
Yeah, that's how comfortable you got.
Your family was so like weirded out a little bit. They're like,
they were?
I feel like maybe not there, but I think they were surprised. Like, oh wow, okay, he's here again. And like Olivia or Victoria would come downstairs and they'd be like, oh. Hey, Orson. Is Lindsay here? I'm like, no, I'm just eating her food.
I know.
Because I didn't have a job.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
So I would eat all their leftovers.
Yep. So that is how we met. I don't know how long have we been recording for?
40 minutes.
So I guess we can talk about also is not only how we met and how we started to get together, but also maybe meeting our families we can bring into this for the last 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So obviously you had already met my dad. I also need to say something about my father. He is very weird. Not weird. He just doesn't like to get attached. So
I didn't talk to him until like we were engaged.
I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm getting over being sick. So yeah, my dad talked to you that one time to get you to call me, and then after that he never really talked to you just because he didn't want to get too attached, because if we didn't work out, then he would have been, sad, because my mom is the complete opposite. She likes to get to know everybody, and then she would always tell me, like, oh, if you and Orson break up, I'm going to be so sad. Like, so she is like that. So my family absolutely loved you. I remember my little sister Olivia, she was, how old was she at the time? Let's see, I was 19 and she's 6 years younger than me. Oh my gosh. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Oh wow, she was young. I remember her, she was saying,
She was Emma's age?
Yeah. She was like, he's so cute. Like, they all just thought you were so cute and so nice, and they all loved you. But of course, that's what everybody thinks of Orson, because he's the best. Now, on the other hand, meeting Orson's family was a little bit trickier because they were all in Arizona and Idaho. That's where your immediate family lives.
Mm-hmm.
And since we were dating for such a short amount of time before we got engaged, I only met each of your family members once. I met your dad once and 3 of your sisters who live in different areas once before engagement, which is so sad. I mean, I know them now. I love them now.
They love you too.
Yeah, but it was just a little bit hard at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. And you never even met my best friends or anything like that, because I didn't really they weren't living here, and that was hard for me, because like my family's always been such a big part, and I wanted them to like you and to get to know you, and like I wanted their approval at the time, and so that was hard to feel like I didn't necessarily have their approval. Maybe that's not the right word. It was just they didn't really know you, so they didn't really have much of an opinion to give. And at the time, for me, it felt like I didn't have much of an approval. I'd be like, yes, marry her. She's amazing. Like, it's going to be great. Like, I didn't get any of that, which was pretty difficult at the time. However, to their point, I don't know, my dad said, he was like, just make sure, because we had just lost my mom to cancer like the year before that. So, and I had just got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I was living in a town where I knew nobody, and all of a sudden I was hanging out at your house every day. And one thing he said to me was like, just make sure you're not just lonely.
Yeah.
And
which I would say is very good advice.
It's really good advice, and it probably played a factor at least a little bit, especially in the beginning. I was just lonely. I didn't have anyone to hang around with. I was now missing this prominent woman figure in my life, and so there's definitely a hole that I was probably trying to fill, which isn't the healthiest. But I mean, again, I'm so grateful for the way that things have turned out, obviously, but I mean, I'm just trying to put myself in my family's shoes, because I grew up being outdoorsy, riding dirt bikes, playing basketball, playing sports, lifting weights, bike riding, and Lindsay grew up watching TV.
Okay. That was the most shade. But you're not wrong at all. What he's meaning is we have 2 different family dynamics. Like,
which is great.
He was, yes, his family was very outdoorsy, did a bunch of cool and fun things. And my family, yeah, we didn't do any of the sort. We liked going to the movies. We liked going to Disneyland.
Yeah, you made your own memories in different ways.
Yes.
Like it's what
your delivery, though.
I know. You like that?
Lindsay, watch TV.
I'm just teasing.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, I love the 2 dynamics that our families have. I'm just throwing shade just to be fun.
So where were you going with that? Sorry.
So I was really more so like trying to put myself in my family's shoes. I guess as far as why I never received the, oh yeah, she's perfect for you kind of thing, because I think they probably always expected me to be with somebody that was outdoorsy, sporty, and super like you were pretty shy and stuff meeting all of them,
which makes me sad, because I am not a shy person at all. I wouldn't say I'm an extrovert, but whenever I take those tests to see if you're an introvert or an extrovert, I'm always 51% introvert and 49%, if that's a percentage, I don't even know. I think it is 49% extrovert. So, but I would not consider myself shy at all. Like, people say that have a really good first impression. I'm very friendly. I'm a nice person. But for some reason, when meeting your family, this also plays a factor, and I'm so sorry if you're listening. But your parents, your dad is who I first met, because your mom had passed away, like you had said, and he didn't have his new wife yet, obviously. So I had just met him, and he was 60. You know, he was an older man, and
we didn't know how to relate to him. And he also has a different kind of humor.
Sense of humor. It was hard for me to talk to him because, yeah, no one around me was that age. Except for grandparents, but they didn't live close by. So, yeah, just having an older white man is just different. It's just very different.
You're throwing the race in there now.
Well, because it's different. I didn't know any older white men.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was giving off shy, insecure vibes because I just didn't know how to talk to him. And your sisters, too, were also older. They're like my parents' age. So it was just hard for me to try and relate, and I don't know. So I came off probably not the best, and I still feel weird about it to this day, but it's fine because they know me now and they love me now. But yeah, the first impressions were rough.
Yeah, and honestly, like when I guess the way that I would have never imagined myself, like when I would think about my future wife, I don't think you fit the mold that I always thought of. But let me be clear about something. I think the mold that I was thinking of was not as realistic as I had thought. Like it was
what was your mold?
Like someone who is exactly like me.
Oh.
And the fact that you're not exactly like me, I think is the best thing for me.
Yeah, I definitely think opposites attract and opposites are good, and they balance out.
Because I mean, I've enjoyed our relationship so much because of the fact that I'm growing at my own pace and you're growing at your own pace. Mm-hmm. And we're growing into these individuals that are in alignment with each other, but they're not the same person. We're not growing in the same direction. We're growing in our own different ways. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like, I mean, I'm sure if I would have gotten with someone that was more similar to me, that probably could have happened to a degree as well. But the thing that is
what's also nice about that is that because we grew up so differently, is that you got to show me, like the first time I was ever on a 4-wheeler or something, it was with you. The first time hiking was with you. No, just kidding. I had hiked before, but doing fun outdoor stuff like that was always with you, which is super fun because I felt comfortable that you were by my side and you're so sweet, and you just got to introduce me to new things, which I think is really cool.
And then from my perspective, like I've really enjoyed being able to just sit back and like watch movies with your family. Mm-hmm. Things that I've seen a lot of movies that I've never even heard of with your family. And like I love that aspect of it too. So there's definitely,
and Disneyland,
it's a yin and a yang type of a thing. Like it.
Yes.
Yang, whatever it is.
I don't even know what you're saying, but like sure.
You know that little symbol, that white and black symbol?
Uh-huh. Yin and yang, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yin, yin.
But yeah, so I think that mold that I was initially thinking of in my head, like you didn't fit in that, but I think that's been a blessing as at the same time though. And I'm grateful that you don't fit in that mold because I'm so grateful for our life and the things that are happening. So
you fit in the mold for me. I wanted to marry a tall. Well, actually, I didn't care about the height because I'm 4'11". So oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, redo. You fit in the mold for me. I always knew I wanted to marry someone tall tall, even though I'm 4'11". I just wanted someone taller than me, which was not very hard, but it was a bonus that you were 6'1", so you're like a tall man and white. I don't want to seem racist at all, but growing up in Utah, that's all I kind of knew. So all the boys around me that I had crushes on were white. So sorry about it. I just kind of knew I would end up with a white boy. And I knew I wanted someone very sweet. So you, amazing, fit my mold. So
that's good.
Just saying.
That's great.
Yeah. How do we end this?
Yeah, that's been really real.
I know.
I love it. No, I mean, I think we can kind of wrap it up this way.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, that's the entirety of the story of kind of how our relationship really first started.
Yeah.
And I think because I don't know, I like to attach some sort of learning opportunity to everything. And I think the hardest part about that entire journey was really, because we talked about this in a previous episode, how everyone loved me and no one really said any great things about you at our wedding, for example.
Yes, that was our last episode, I think. We talked about that.
And
it's because they didn't know me.
Yes, and like me searching for an approval that I never really felt like I got. Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of other people out there that maybe are in a younger marriage or something like that, and they feel like, oh, my family, I'm not really getting much of an approval from them. And honestly, like, in my head, I feel like it's okay.
I think it would be different, though, if I had spent a lot of time with your family and they didn't give their approval that way, because that would just mean they do know me and they just don't like me. So I think that would be
so hard.
I think that would be very different. And I honestly don't think I could marry someone who my family just did not like. Not because because I mean, it's my life. I can do whatever I want. But I think usually people around you, if they don't like someone, it's for a reason, and you should probably take that into some type of consideration. But the reason why your parents and your family just didn't like me is because they didn't know me yet.
I don't think they didn't not like you. They just didn't have an opinion because they didn't know you.
Yeah.
I think they liked you, but they just didn't know you. They didn't really have an opinion to be like, oh yeah, I really like her, or really, no, I don't like her.
My first impression was probably so weird, because I remember the first time I met your sister Brooke, you were already wanting to get married to me. So I remember the first time we met, you were talking to Brooke about, oh, I'm gonna marry her. What do you think? So they probably were just like, maybe they just didn't like me because
my little brother's getting married all of a sudden. Like,
yes,
what's happening?
And maybe they were like, who is this girl? Who is this girl, Lindsay? Why is she already wanting to marry my brother? Like, they probably just thought I was a little crazy, and I am, but a good crazy. They know that now.
Yeah. So,
anyway, you live and you learn. Make good first impressions, people. Don't be shy vibes like I was. Don't be weird vibes like I was.
It was.
And you'll succeed.
I mean, okay. Everything worked out the way it needed to. Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Our podcast is definitely growing. We are getting more views on YouTube and a couple more downloads on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So thank you so much. One thing that we have not gotten yet is any reviews on our Apple Podcast, because you can star it, like rate it 5 stars, and we've gotten a couple of those. But that would be nice if you could leave a podcast review. We would love that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Sounds good, Linz. All right.
1, 2, 3. Bye.